Morning, Jory.
Hey, how are you?
You're good.
Good. It's heated.
So today we're gonna do the loaded with the straps and everything, and then we're gonna do a chair setup,
Okay.
which I'll demo here in just a second.
It says it was purchased disassembled. I don't know what that means. I think I found a pool, Nick.
Oh, nice. Where at?
It's in Riverside.
Oh, even nice and close.
It's a little bit of a DIY project, but we got nothing but time right now, and it's like a fraction of the cost.
Nice. So now, is it a standalone?
Yeah, it's a SwimX, so it's like an endless pool, but it's the big fiberglass like tub kind of thing.
Yeah. You said SwimX?
SwimX, yeah. I don't know. I say that now, but my husband's out there trying to figure out how to crane it over the house right now. It's one of those projects.
But being in construction, I bet he knows somebody that has a crane.
Yeah.
Right. So I mean that's definitely helpful.
Well, at least he's good at figuring things out.
And if he's like any guy, especially one in construction and everything, you kind of enjoy that type of challenge.
It's kind of a project right now, like we got nothing else, so.
Exactly. So what you want is the door attachment or the attachment to be fairly low, probably about middle part of the leg. So closer to the ankle, maybe middle shin.
Okay.
And then what we're going to do is we're going to take the carabiner and daisy chain and attach it right there. And then I have my yoga mat so that when the strap comes out directly away from that attachment, the yoga mat is split. And then I'm going to take my chair and place it over the top. And so we're going to get the added benefit of being able to move your chair around.
Okay.
A little extra lifting. So what we're going to do is the first one is we're going to do a knee extension. And we'll do that each leg 30 seconds. And then we're going to turn the chair and do hip external rotation. And so that will do each side. So again, you get the benefit of lifting. And then we're going to do knee flexion. So here, I could either scoot my chair back, but because it's so convenient to just change on this daisy chain linkage, I was able to keep my chair in the same place and just shorten that. And then we go from there. We're going to do a standing modified tree. So we're just going to stand for 30 seconds with that hip open. No resistance on that, but we're working on the single leg balance. And then we're going to sit back down, but this time the band is going to be out, and now I'm going to push forward, but obviously my arm is blocked. So we want that close to that elbow space when we're pressing.
Hey, Al, I have a question when this is all done.
Sure.
All right, so here we go. So we'll start with the right leg. I'll try to do a good job of starting with my right side all throughout today. So 30-second hold. I'm going to go ahead and lean back because I do have the back there, and that just opens up my hip space. We're just trying to keep that steady pressure against that anchor. Feeling it through that front of the thigh. Hopefully you don't feel too much pressure onto that kneecap. If you do, then you can think about like kind of lowering the pressure, putting less effort into it. 5 seconds. And then relax. Go ahead and let that knee bend so that there's slack on the daisy chain. We'll switch legs. And press. And so there's a tendency to kind of want to continue to lift and lift that thigh up, but you're thinking about still trying to keep the back of the thigh, the hamstring, in contact with the chair as that leg pushes forward. So it's a little bit more posterior engagement as well. And a little less stability with this because the daisy chain can move side to side and relax out of it. Now we're going to do the seated hip rotation. So I'm going to do the right leg first. So I'll be facing away from you. And here we're keeping the knee aligned with the foot. But I'm thinking about taking my foot that way, away from the anchor. Scan, see what position your toes are in. Are they pointed? Don't make any change right now. Just observe where they're at. And relax. Okay, we're going to switch. So I'm going to scoot over just a little bit.
So is this just a first round with no abduction, or are we going to add abduction later?
Yeah, we'll see. Right now, I'm keeping it just nice and close. I think as we start to do some of those other positions, it'll be interesting to see, you know, how different it feels, because there's going to be a little less stability added to the equipment. So then it becomes a much more holding it up and pressing.
Right.
Yeah, right now just trying to keep it in that same alignment. And then relax. Now we're going to do the hamstring. So I'm pulling back. Same thing, kind of paying attention. What position do the toes want to be in? You know, right now it's easier for me to keep my toes up towards the band. If I point them down, it gets a lot more challenging. I even feel less coordinated. And relax, we'll switch legs. And then you want that daisy chain, the thigh strap, just above that Achilles, just above the heel. And relax. Okay, now we're going to move to standing. So I don't think I demoed this one, but we're going to stand and you're going to pull, you're going to lean and pull that leg, squeeze it, the single leg balance and the squeeze. So this is a good core exercise. My right foot is off the floor, I'm leaning onto my left, and I'm squeezing the legs together. And relax, switch sides.
Okay, so you're not bringing that leg forward at all. You're just leaning so that it's off the ground.
Exactly, I'm trying to keep those toes aligned with each other.
Okay, great.
And it's easier, like you might have to soften the knee a little bit.
Uh-huh. I will probably be holding on to the back of the chair.
Yeah, and that's exactly, you got the chair right here that we've been using, so you can use that. My right leg has been giving me a little bit of trouble, so this exercise is a little harder on my right, standing on my right side today. Now we have our modified tree pose, so we're just gonna stand on the right leg, pull the left leg up, and you're not assisting that knee, you're just seeing what can your internal system do to help keep that knee out there. You can determine how high you want your foot. Do you want it at your calf, your knee, up to that thigh? That's just going to recruit a different amount of knee flexors. So the higher your foot goes up that leg, the more it's working your knee flexors. The more that your knee is out to the side, it's working the hip external rotators and abductors. So here we go, other side. Here, even though that knee's going out, you're trying to keep your chest and shoulders forward. As that knee likes to go, everything likes to turn with it. Squeeze everything, that posterior hip glute area to help get that knee out. You can think about squeezing the back of the hamstring to get that foot up a little higher. Go and relax out of it. All right, so now we're going to bring that chair back to where it's facing away, but we're going to keep the strap above the chair so we can do the pressing motion. I'm just pressing that arm forward. It's getting blocked. Right now, my arm is slightly in front of my body. The next time I'm going to aim to get my chair a little bit further out so that it blocks me a little bit further back. Right now, it's blocking me about in this position. And I'm just, even though it's blocking me, I'm still thinking about my arms and hands are going to meet in the middle. And relax. Okay, we'll switch sides. All right, 3, 2, and press. So here you can see a little bit better if I scoot the chair out. Next time I'll be able to do it here. Working the same muscles, but just different fibers of those muscle groups. We have thousands of fibers that make up a single muscle. So it's good to be able to shed and share some of those forces amongst those different fibers of that muscle group and relax. All right, so now we're going to go back under. And we'll go back to the knee extension. So we're back at the first exercise. So again, I'm going to lean back a little bit as I push forward. I'm pushing that knee out, feeling it right through the quad. The quad is nice and tight. In fact, it's really easy to focus just on pushing the foot, which is good to do, but then also you want to scan back in and start thinking, is this thigh as tight as it can be? Can you tighten up those thigh muscles just a little bit more, get them to get a little bit stronger of a squeeze, and relax. Switch legs, and press. Kind of collapsing through my spine. It's good to kind of revisit, oh, am I sitting up? You know, spine extended. And relax. Okay, next we're going to do the hip external rotation. So we'll still do this one with the knee in. We're trying to keep that knee and foot aligned. Halfway. And you can kind of even see the little strap or the daisy chain kind of moves a little bit. And then that can kind of be a goal of how steady can you make that with keeping your pressure at the same level. And then relax. Daisy chain, here it is. There's slack, and then I'm nice and tight, and I want that to be as steady as possible, as opposed to like there it's moving back and forth. Here it's kind of slacking and getting tight, and I want that to maintain as steady as I can.
So optimum is being able to hip flex to get your foot off the floor.
Yeah.
Okay.
And obviously, you know, the height of the chair is going to influence that, right?
Right.
So like here, the height of this chair keeps me in a position where I can get my foot off the floor. The stool that I typically use sits a lot lower. So
Yeah.
then in order to get my foot off the floor there, I'm going to have to go through a lot of hip flexion. So that's why I chose this other chair that sits me up a little higher. And so just talking about that ability to lift that leg up. So now we'll do the knee flexion, pulling back. And here I'm going to point my toes down and in. In order to do that, to point my toes down, I have to lift my thigh up just so I have clearance of my foot being able to point down.
Yeah.
Felt my toes would hit the ground. So now because of real estate or how much room and space I have, my body has to adapt. Or I could choose, hey, put that foot in less extreme and bring that thigh back down. But I'm going to go ahead and choose to keep the toes pointed, keep that thigh up, and then relax.
Those dudes don't even have face coverings on over there.
Huh?
Nothing. We got some people working on the roof next door to us that are nothing on their faces right now.
And that squeeze on the back side of the leg. You can kind of even use your hands to explore and find out, is that area as tight as it feels on the inside? All right, we're going to do our standing. So here. If it's a little tight, then you lean out right there and then continue to squeeze across. Get unbalanced like that, you just tap back down and then reset. Really feel those abs engaged. And then relax. Again, get to where it's tight with feet about hip width apart, and then you lean on this outside leg and then squeeze together. And relax. Okay, we're going to do the modified tree pose. And so here we've got that foot going whatever height you want. That's going to involve the hamstrings, and then how far do you take the knee out? So it's up to you, knowing that the further you take the knee out, the more it starts working those hip external rotators. But we have different influences on how far we can go. Our joint surfaces, our joint shapes, the combination of our limb sizes, so the length of your femur relative to the hip width and hip height. So there's a lot of influences on what determines how much motion you get, how easy these things are from one individual to the next, sometimes from your right side to the left, and then relax.
Why do you call it modified? Because you're not doing the arms overhead?
Yeah, we're not doing every, the traditional tree pose,
Okay.
everything, really putting the focus in on the lower body.
Okay.
And then I also think of everything modified as if I'm not doing like where the the traditional name came from, and it is in,
Okay.
since I'm not doing it in yoga and doing the traditional thing, I always think of it as, I'll call it modified. All right, shake it out. We're back to our chest press. So again, this time I'm gonna try to set up where my arm is blocked a little earlier. So we'll see how my setup goes. I might have to change my setup. Actually, that's pretty good right there. So, all right, here we go. 3, 2, and press. So I'm just envisioning that my hands are both pressing forward, trying to meet towards the middle. Obviously, this right arm is being blocked. You can feel it get tight right in front of that front shoulder. 2 seconds. And relax. All right, here we go. 3, 2, and press. And so there's even that, like it's kind of more externally rotated. I can bring that hand down. That's one of the nice things about these isometrics is it gives you a chance to really scan and find out, wait, what position am I in? Is my shoulder elevated here? Am I down here? My hand rotated outward? Am I keeping it more internally rotated so the hand is flat? And relax. And so like there, like I didn't notice it on my right side, but I did on that where it felt a lot less stable on my left side, you know, and that's partly because my left is weaker. So then it felt like, you know, a lot shakier. And I'm like, oh, I didn't notice that on the right. All right, round 3, back to the knee extension. Here we go, pressing out. Scanning the body, how do your joints feel? The point where your body has contact with the strap, where it's wrapped around that lower leg, how does that feel? That's kind of my overriding sensation right now, even more so than my thigh. But the longer I hold it, the more the volume of my thigh starts to increase, and I become less and less strap it. So being aware about, you know, how does your body, here we go, 3, 2, and press. How does your body communicate, or how do things feel from the start of the 30-second hold to the end of the 30-second hold? So again, here I feel an overriding amount down at that strap. And so the areas that we typically have the greatest amount of sensation, there's a lot of information to glean for that, and then learning to ask better questions and relax. As you see up here on my dry erase board, I say, learn to listen to your body. You are the interpreter. Learn to ask better questions. All right, so now we're taking that leg across. So now, KL, if you like, you can take that knee out. I'm going to go ahead and keep mine in. As I take the knee out, it just gets a lot more unstable.
Okay.
But that's a choice, right? If you want to go there, I'm going to make less responsibility on my muscular system by keeping that knee in.
Mm-hmm.
Putting fewer variables into it. And even as I fatigued there, the body was wanting to start to like do other motions. All right, here we go. What I think about of asking better questions is like even right now where it's like, oh, I noticed some things standing. My right leg were a little bit harder to do. My left arm was a little bit weaker. Now I'm going to go ask more questions of those areas. I'm going to go investigate a little bit more. Maybe it's through giving it rest. Maybe it's by choosing other exercises to see how well are those areas doing, to get a better idea as opposed to just assuming. and then relax. All right, now we got the knee flexion. All right, pulling back. Again, you have your choice of doing what you want with your toes. This time I'm gonna pull, keep my knee still forward, but I'm gonna pull the toes up and out. So I'm gonna rotate them outward, and that's gonna help me use this, emphasize this lateral part of the hamstring just a little bit more. So I kept the knee in the same spot. I've still got my leg coming back, but then I pulled the toes out and up. Where previous times they were aligned with the daisy chain and then even down and across. And here I was starting to allow that thigh to lift, but I'm going to try to keep that down and relax. All right, here we go. Same thing. Pulling back.
So I didn't notice on a previous round you did internal tibial rotation when you were pulling.
One, I kept it aligned, so I was trying to stay
Yeah.
neutral. And then that second time through, I did the toe
Ah,
drop
okay.
across. And then as you point your toes, naturally, they also go down and inward. Final 5. And relax. All right. All right, so we're going to find where this has tension on it with your feet. So there's tension there. My feet are about hip width, and then I'm going to lean onto the outside foot and then squeeze. Putting emphasis on staying up nice and tall, shoulders down. And relax. So this is like, these are like good exercises, kind of like they do in Pilates and yoga when you have tension being created. Even though there's tension being created, still trying to create length through other areas. So like I've got my lower body squeezing, and now I'm going to try to get as tall as I can through my spine and my top of my head, the crown of my head, through the point of contact on the floor. I'm even going to try to make my toes kind of grip the floor a little bit more, where on my right foot, the toes kind of like to lift off the floor and I get added balance, but I'm going to go after my weaknesses and try to make those toes stay in contact with the floor. And relax, shake it out. All right, we have that tree pose once again. So this time I'm going to put a little less emphasis on the external rotation out and put more emphasis on that knee flexion, trying to get that foot above the knee. Where if I take the knee out, then I lose some of that knee flexion. Shake it out. All right, so I'm gonna do the same on this side. So again, put more emphasis on the knee flexions, less external rotation. As I get better at this, I'll be able to do both of the extremes. Or what I should even say, when I have good days, because even as we get better at something, you'll have good days and bad days. Five seconds. And relax, shake it out, walk it out. Final exercise. So I'm just going to line that up to where it blocks a little early. All right, here we go. 3, 2, and go. Paying attention to where's that forearm at. So this one was, I'm going to purposely go a little bit more internally rotated, so my forearm and wrist are almost like pointing down. And I'm still thinking about taking my elbow forward.
This is something.
So kind of what I was talking about there. That rep is the previous two. I did it like here. And now I'm going to keep my hand down here. And I'm thinking about pulling that point of my elbow, that strap forward. And that's one of the other nice things about isometrics and getting strong in isometrics. It allows us to train some motions and positions that otherwise would be more strenuous. And relax. Nice.